And joining me now is Obaidullah Bahir. He's a scholar of peace and negotiations. He joins us live from Kabul, Afghanistan, to talk to us about the US delegation visit to Turkey for the Kabul airport security issue. Good afternoon, Obaidullah. Thanks for joining the program.
Thank you for having me.
Now, a delegation from the Pentagon and State Department will meet Turkish officials in Ankara today. Afghanistan has reaffirmed its support for Turkey to operate the Kabul airport. Now, what are you expecting from this meeting, and how will the US support Turkey's goal for regional peace and stability?
I think this is a very tricky situation to be in. For the Turkish administration to work so closely with the United Nations or the United States might actually create complications for the process. So the idea that the handover of security or having a mediator or guarantor within Afghanistan has been an idea that has existed for a while within Afghanistan. But the concept was always having countries that were impartial, having Islamic countries, and Turkey really fit the bill there. However, I think the closer that they start coordinating with the United States, the more it will instigate the Taliban, the more it will make the idea unacceptable for the Taliban. And I think there are better ways of approaching this situation.
So how so? What would you suggest? What would your analysis be in terms of handling the situation?
Look, so a very important thing that should be done is not to jump the gun, not to do things too quickly or too early. We already saw the Taliban's reaction to the offer of securing the Kabul airport. Unless the negotiations are done directly with all stakeholders on the table, anything that is agreed between Turkey and the NATO presence or the United States is just going to backfire, and it's just going to cause an escalation of violence. Though some security analysts would say that Turkey's military presence might help de-escalate the situation, but we already saw what foreign troops do in Afghanistan and how they create this sense for the Taliban to keep showing their fight as a fight for independence, fight for control of Afghanistan. So I guess these things have to wait. We have to first prioritize the internal negotiations and peace settlement process moving forward. Then the second stage should be talking about who should the military presence belong to, who the guarantor for the peace process or the transition should be. I think anyone who intervenes right now is going to be perceived as a party to the conflict, and Turkey should not get involved into Afghanistan like that.
Okay, well, Turkey has been running the military and logistic operations of the Kabul Hamid Karzai International Airport in Afghanistan for 6 years as part of the NATO Resolute Support Mission. Now, can you tell us about the geostrategic importance of this airport and how it will serve to maintain a diplomatic process after troops withdraw?
So airports are very fundamental, right, in a few different ways. One is that for any foreign dignitaries that operate within Afghanistan and the diplomats, especially for their missions, it's the safest way out. And again, imagining a world or Afghanistan in which the airport falls to either side or any side that is not the government, is going to create problems. Symbolically, it means a great deal as well. We've had talk of different embassies wanting to leave the country because if they cannot guarantee the secure exit of their staff, no one wants another Iranian Argo on their hands where their staff members are stuck in a country for months and months without being able to exit the country. So strategically, it's really important. The airport is an important discussion, but this is a second stage reactionary thing to do. I think there's much more that needs to be done to prevent situations from getting to that level. We should stop the violence. We should take the Afghan peace talks more seriously. We should put pressure on all sides on the different countries that are involved, regional players that are acting as spoilers. All of them have to be brought in line, and everyone needs to sit on the table. Because if we're going to talk about the security of the airport, then we're talking about the war. And either we decide that we are giving up on the peace process and moving ahead with the war, then all of this makes sense. But if we're still going to talk about a peace process, then we need to treat it more seriously.
All right, well, we've seen a huge security void ever since some of the troops began their withdrawal. Attacks have increased and the Taliban is taking hold of districts one by one. Now, looking at this situation, do you believe the attacks will increase in number as we move forward?
Well, look, sometimes logically when you look at things, the problem isn't the existence or non-existence of troops. The problem is the change from troops being there to not being there and how that transition happened. So Biden's unconditional withdrawal from Afghanistan was the reason why the Taliban were so emboldened and started thinking or created the sense that if they could defeat the hegemon of the world and the superpower of the world, then they can defeat any government or any local military as well. That will not change this feeling or this sense of impending victory that the Taliban have, whether there is any other foreign presence that comes into Afghanistan. The fighting will be this violent. But again, if you look at it through the future lens, I think it's very difficult that either side has total victory. So we will just be stuck in this escalated violence. And there will be a stalemate until either the government collapses on itself or the Taliban find an incentive to sit and talk. Sadly, till then, poor Afghan people will be paying with their lives.
Okay, Obadullah, thank you very much for joining the program. We appreciate your time.